Help support AMTV by becoming a patron, an AMTV staff member, and following us over on Twitter.
Hi there guys, it's Adam Martin here, and welcome back to another episode of the Now Review. And for today's instalment we take a look at the newest addition to the Now lineup of the main series. So this is the 102nd, believe it or not, instalment of Now. It's Now That's What I Call Music 102. It's a very interesting album to say the least. Let's have a look at the cover to start with. A lot of nice, it's gone for like a really swirly effect with lots of reds and yellows, oranges, blues. It's not the most stunning cover, but it seems slightly different to what we've had. And let's face it, after 102 volumes and over 80 of them with this sort of format, I think it looks quite nice. There's the spine, you've got a yellow title this time, and of course the all-important track list. So CD1 kicking off with Ariana Grande. And as we just scanned down here, I'm not as in tune with the modern charts as I used to be growing up. I do recognise some of these songs because, you know, you just catch them on the radio or when you're walking in a shop or something like that. But some of these I'm actually really curious to hear. I like how actually it starts with Ariana Grande and finishes with her as well, because she's everywhere at the minute. And CD2, Lewis Capaldi, I actually really like this song, Someone You Loved. And fun fact for any Doctor Who fans, Peter Capaldi, a very distant relation, is sort of the centre point of the music video to this. And at the time of recording, or at least I'm recording, I believe the song is still #1 on the UK singles chart after about 6 weeks. Shallow from A Star Is Born there, This Is Me of course. There's a lot of Greatest Showman here. There's this, of course, from the movie. There is the James Arthur and Anne-Marie version of Rewrite the Stars. And there is the opening song, The Greatest Show, and that's all the original cast there. I do find it odd we've got a lot of Greatest Showman considering this came out in April 2019. The movie really came out and the soundtrack really made an impact of January of 2018. So it's taken a very, very long time for Now to incorporate this. I'm not sure if that's something to do with the rights of the songs or whether they just thought the time's right to do it now. The absence from this list of the big ones that made an impact, I'm surprised they didn't put Pink's version of A Million Dreams, which was doing the rounds. Pink is on here with her single Walk Me Home, which is doing well in the chart, but she's nowhere to be found Greatest Showman wise. But of course the main talking point is bonus throwback to Now 2, because the final 6 tracks are tracks from Now 2, and because it's the 35th anniversary as it says there. So you got Relax by Frankie Goes to Hollywood, Wouldn't It Be Good by Nick Kershaw, Break My Stride by Matthew Wilder, Girls Just Wanna Have Fun by Cyndi Lauper, It's a Miracle by The Culture Club, and Hold Me Now by the Thompson Twins. And all of these are great songs, but I remember when they announced the track list, it just seems very strange for the first time in Now's history that you've got, you know, what is it, about 40 songs of modern stuff, and then 6 songs openly from a past Now. I mean, there have been times where songs from the 80s and 90s have reappeared on modern Nows because they've got popular, but to openly state it like this, it's a bit of an odd choice. The song choices are good. I'm surprised they didn't put 99 Red Balloons. That would have been a good choice, I think. But anyway, of course, this came out in 2019, and we're going to take a quick look inside. So there is disc 1, a lovely pink and purple. I do actually really like the swirly effects on the actual discs of these. Pink and purple might not have been my personal choice for a colour scheme, but I mean, it works well enough. And the second CD, I'll just open for you, is yellow and pink, which definitely looks a bit more garish. It actually reminds me of the colours of, I always forget the name of those hard-boiled sweets you used to get as a kid. So not the perfect art styles. Oh, but look, it's the hit music app. No one cares. Let's just close that there. And look at this, 35-year anniversary of Now 2. Now 2 available on CD for the very first time, also available on vinyl. Now, I own the original pressing of Now 2 from 1984, so the vinyl bit doesn't interest me. The CD, not for me really. I'm more of a vinyl guy than CD, apart from the Now stuff, but it is very interesting. It seems they're tapping into what the, I guess, core Now fans are wanting, because for those of you who don't know, I think it's, well, before this, Now 2 to 9, or most of them, basically a lot of the early Nows didn't have CD releases. It was still in the era where CDs were just starting to come into the market. They weren't very popular, they were very expensive. And CDs for Nows only became a standard thing with the full track list from about Now 10 onwards. So for years, fans have been asking Now to put the full original albums onto CD, just to complete your collection, I suppose. And they've finally done that with Now 2. So Will this be a continuing trend? Are we going to see Nows 3 onwards up to about 10 reissued on CD? Are there going to be anniversaries, 35 years in keeping with the modern numbers? Because it is quite funny that Now 102 corresponds with Now 2, exactly 100 volumes apart. I think that's quite funny. But now, I'm going to quickly take this booklet out and we'll skim through it. So there's the booklet, obviously comprising the cover, and it's the usual Now affair. You get a little bit about the artists and the tracks. I've never enjoyed this font, I'll just say that now. It's too tricky for someone like me to read. But, if you want your chart information and you haven't got any internet, I suppose, you can look inside this. I definitely think this sort of informational style is nice to have. You can easily find it online now, but it's sort of a nice reminder of, when CDs were key for informational material. It even includes the Now 2 throwback with pictures of these artists, and I'm sure a lot of younger purchasers of Now are probably thinking, what's wrong with all of their hair? I clearly took inspiration from them. And for full track list, please visit the website, etc. So that is your booklet. So what is there really else to say? About the modern track list, so CD1 and half of CD2, it's hard for me to comment. There are some songs on here I really like. Ariana Grande I'm a fan of, and what else is on here? Lewis Capaldi, I think, has got quite a unique voice, and he's making his mark here. Some of the soundtrack stuff. But yeah, it's a standard modern Now album. The Now 2 throwback is obviously the one I keep coming back to. For many, this seems odd. But honestly, I think if they continue this trend, so say if Now 103 has now 3 songs on it, I think this is good because, say a lot of people purchase this, whether it's CD or streaming or whatever, it gives them a chance to not only listen to these modern tracks, but also to experience music from decades gone by that maybe they aren't familiar with, maybe they haven't delved into. And for someone like me who's a big fan of 80s music in general, it's probably the decade of music I own the most material from. It's really nice to see for me as a bonus, but I really want it to sort of open doors to people who aren't familiar with that stuff. So I hope this actually continues. I was unsure at first, but I also think it's a good marketing tool for them because, they reissued Now 1 last November, obviously to tie in with the 35th anniversary of the whole series. I don't know how well Now 1 did. It was released on CD, vinyl and cassette. No cassette release for Now 2, but again, of course, if you really want the cassette, you can just get the original copy of it. So yeah, an interesting album, a first for Now, of course. This will go down in Now history as the first to openly incorporate past tracks from previous Nows. And that's not really a problem because sometimes with the modern Nows, they comprise 45, 46 tracks, and some of the tracks on there aren't really... it's good to hear new things, but if this is meant to represent the chart, I feel it doesn't always do it justice. So I think having, say, 40 hits and then a few songs from past albums is a good way to go forward. If you're a Now collector, obviously you're going to pick this up like myself. If you're into modern music, it's a must-have and a little bonus to discover the past as well. If you're into the numbered series, it's a must-own. If you're just into the spin-offs, you just want your compilations, you're not really into a big focus on modern music, then there's no point in really getting this, because even though the classic songs are there, there's 6 songs out of a 46-song package. So you may as well stick to one of the compilations, like the 100 Hits series they've been doing. So Now 100 Hits 80s or Now 100 Hits Power Ballads would probably be a better purchase if you want a more, like a broad spectrum. But that's all for this instalment of the Now Review. Thank you very much for watching. Please leave a like, a comment, share the video around, subscribe to the channel if you're new with notifications on. And until the next one, I will see you guys next time.
Thank you to our patrons for helping to support the show, and a special thank you to Macra, Hooks Media, Ben Freeman, Ethan Carberry-Holt, Brittany Fan 1999, Bruce Danton, The Broken Kitsumanoid, and Francine Salazar, our AMTV staff members.